What's up, guys? It's time for happy hour. Cheers, y'all. We made it through Wednesday. And yes, Mariah is the one to bring it home. If you haven't jammed a Mariah lately, you are missing out. But while we are letting folks get in the room and get started, I want you to jump in the chat. I want to know, where are you? What are you drinking? 3 stars if you're a first timer. We want to know. We want to shout you out. Y'all, you'll never be a part of me. Guys, I can't remember the words. Definitely. Y'all didn't know that you were getting some karaoke. I mean, you probably did because it's a habit. Cheers, y'all. The rest of the week, we're coasting towards the weekend. Wednesday's over. We made it through hump day. It is August the 5th, in case you forgot what day it was. It's Wednesday. Date, August 5th. I'm here for you, you know? I know all the days are running together. Today, we are going to be covering Austrian wine, and I am stoked to teach you about it. Let's check in the comments. Who is here while Mariah sings us in? Woo! As always, I feel like Rinda Miller. I feel like you cheat somehow. You always get first in the chat. Rinda, what is up? So glad you're here. Terry, Sakakini. Terry, I'm not sure I've seen your name before. Is this your first time? We need to know. Jamie, what is up? Good to see your name there. Mercedes, cheers from San Antonio, having a Moscow Mule. What is up? Bill and Monica and Lake Jackson. What's up, friends? Having a glass of California Chard. I love it. Deborah, Enchante in Lubbock. Alta, cheers from Frisco, having Enchante 17. Woo, Terry's having some sparkling lime water. Looks like there's somebody on the William Chris Vineyards account watching from high and drinking a Petsard block? Maybe there was a typo there. Doug, missed you, man. I missed you too. In Allen, no drink yet. Let's work on that. Let's definitely get on that. I have missed you guys. You know, we moved to once a week happy hours this week, so you know, little withdrawal. We gotta adjust, but I'm excited today. Larry, thank you. I'm glad you love my white sunglasses inside. Eric and Asha, love you guys. Timmons Mourvedre. What do you know? That's what I'm drinking. I have some fun news to share with you guys. I think I can share that news. I'm gonna share it with you anyway. Who knows? I'm going to let Mariah take a break. What is going on with my yellow screen there for a second? Sorry about that, guys. It is time to get these things kicked off. I'm going to check back into the comments here in a sec. If you haven't checked in, I want you to check in because I want to shout you out. I want to know you're here. And maybe I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but I'm going to tell you this because nobody told me I couldn't tell you this about our Timmons Mourvedre. So the William Chris wine of the day is the 2017 Timmons Mourvedre. This is probably my current favorite Mourvedre. I will say this. In all of the Mourvedres that we make at William Chris, I will say that Lost Draw is normally my number one. It's typical for Lost Draw to be. And I think that's because I fell in love with the 15 Lost Draw Mourvedre. Like right as I was like getting hired and coming on the team at William Chris, that wine was just slamming, banging good, so amazing. I've had old versions of it now, and it's still incredible. But lately, this 17 Timmons Mourvedre has like inched up to almost like 1B. It's probably still number 2. I still think Lost Draw is probably my favorite, but man, this Timmons Mourvedre, it's so versatile. It's so drinkable. Goes great on a chill, great for the summer. And here's the thing, y'all. We don't focus at William Chris. We don't focus on ratings. We don't get too worried about like Robert Parker this and Jeb Dunham that and, all the folks. Now, I will let you know, and I'm going to have to go back and probably like look at my drive, and I can't remember. Oh, I know exactly who it was. You might have heard of this person before. You might have heard of this rating system before. So this wine recently received 90 points from James Suckling, a Texas Mourvedre a almost, let's call it fresh style of Texas Mourvedre. Got a 90-point rating. And that is epic, y'all. That's incredible. It's not a well-known grape worldwide. Texas is still considered kind of under the radar in terms of region. And for a Texas Mourvedre to get a 90-point score from James Suckling is a big deal. So again, we're not focused on ratings. That's not why we make wine at William Chris. It's not our goal is to get these like high point wines. But it is amazing when the industry sits up and takes notice and ranks our wine well. So it's always appreciated, that extra publicity. So pretty stinking excited. So here we are. Let me show you this guy. Let's start on this side. So this is Mourvedre from the Timmons Estate in the Texas High Plains. 2017 vintage, y'all. When we talked about this, the 2017 vintage is like textbook incredible. High, amazing, incredible high-end vintage. All the things you want. So you get the rain kind of in the spring. Once summer hits, you get hot and dry and sunny. And you want that hot, dry, sunny all the way through. Grapes get really good ripeness, not a lot of issues with rot. And you just get an incredible harvest that makes beautiful, delicious wine. And, you know, that's what we feel like. Great grapes make great wine. And so cheers to you guys. Let's talk about this for a sec. Let's stick our nose in here. So for me, at the beginning, this wine is very tart red fruited. I go like cherry, strawberry, raspberry. But I do think it finishes with a little more like red fruit. I feel like you get into that like plum, black fruit, maybe even a little bit of there's like earthiness to this wine. That's really great. It's a complex wine. Yeah, beautiful aromas. Maybe a little bit of like orange rind. Delicious wine. Because of the acidity that I'm getting, a lot of saliva, right? This makes me want to have this wine with food. My number one go-to with this wine right now is pork carnitas tacos on corn tortillas. I think that this wine is so great. That acid cuts through the fattiness of pork carnitas, but then you spritz like a nice lime on top of that taco, and the acidity in the lime and the acidity in this wine, the fruitiness comes up because of how kind of fatty and umami that you get from the carnitas really helps the fruit in this wine sing. So yeah, tart cherries for sure, Sam. I love that. Yep, I'm gonna stick with that call. I think like tart red fruit, tart cherry, tart raspberry on the front, maybe a little bit of like plum, blackberry, and then finishes with a little bit of like earthiness. I love this wine. So whether you want to drink it on its own, I chilled this for about 45 minutes before I opened it, and I do recommend that. This is a lighter style red, and especially in the summer, you want to take your lighter reds and you want to put them in the refrigerator. So cool. Brisket, you could. You know, Jennifer's asking, can you pair this with brisket? Absolutely. I'm going to warn you though. I think sometimes, because brisket is a pretty intense, like very smoky, very meaty, a lot of times very peppery, you get that really good crust on it, can overwhelm a lighter red. Now, if you want to drink this while you're smoking the brisket or while you're grilling, however you prepare your brisket, absolutely, this would be great like grilling. I would say this is a great grilling wine. So all the other things that you do on the grill, you just got to be a little careful with brisket, because brisket can sometimes get really intense. And this wine, I don't think necessarily has the intensity to hold up. Now, here's the thing. There's no like black and white answers to the food pairing scenarios with wine. It's always like, try it. So like, try it and tell me, like, let me know if you smoked a brisket and you had this Timmons Mourvedre with that brisket and it went well. Like, I'm here for it, guys. Like, we all need, especially in Texas, we all need more brisket wines in our roster. So like, let's not kid ourselves that you can't try things and figure stuff out as you go. So I just say be careful, because sometimes those big, intense red meats that have been smoked for a really long time and have a pepper crust on the grill can overwhelm some lighter styles of wine. So if you're digging it, I'm digging it. That's what's great. Jeffrey's asking what Mourvedre went into the 17 artist blend. I don't know the answer to that. I can try and find a tech sheet for you. Jeffrey, once you hop into my DMs on Instagram or shoot me an email, d@williamchris.com, I'll look up the tech sheet for you and can get that information. I don't think it was Timmons Mourvedre because I think we kept all that for this single vineyard bottling. All right. Are y'all ready for Austria? So if y'all remember, we decided to go Portugal after the poll a few weeks back. And I wanted to pick up because there were some other folks who were really excited about learning about Austrian wine. And I think for the summer, especially, Austrian wine has a ton of potential for you guys. And we just don't talk about it enough. Austria doesn't get enough pub. And I even forgot, I'm going to, in a second, while y'all are cheersing and drinking, I'm going to hop up about 5 feet away and I'm going to get a bottle of Austrian wine that's in my fridge to show you how you can always know that a bottle is from Austria. So I got a little, yes, I love this. Bill's like, and ready for the map. Y'all know me. Y'all know we got to start. If we're going to talk about a new region, we got to have the map. And so everybody, it's time to cheers. It's colored pencil time. Get ready for your geography lesson. It's time for an Austrian map. And here she is. So first, I want to zoom in on this like little world map in the corner because we're going to talk about all things Austria today. So let's just like get our bearings, right? We're over here. Hopefully you know where Texas is. You know, I'm just making no assumptions about who you are, what you know. My little mouse is over here in front of Texas, okay? Just north of Mexico, so south central U.S., south central side here. Now, I want us to go up to the 48th parallel. I like the way they made this map. This 48th parallel, that's a latitude line, not a longitude line. That's a latitude line, like rungs of a ladder. Now, this latitude line, the 48th parallel, is the same latitude as Washington State, Quebec, Canada, Burgundy, France, which you hopefully will remember. Burgundy is a cooler climate temperature, which hopefully you know, like Canada and Washington. Cooler, right? Now, Vienna, Austria is on that same 48th parallel. So we should already be thinking this is going to be a cooler climate in general because the latitude is so high. Now, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Hopefully you can see this a little bit. I guess I got to use 2 fingers to put my wine glass down here. You'll notice that the concentration of wine regions in Austria, which is, I don't even know what to call this. It looks like an internal organ, like the shape of the country of Austria. I don't know if that's like a large intestine or a liver or whatever that looks like. It's a weird shape. Austria is a weird shape. Italy's got the boot. Austria, I don't know what to call it. Maybe you guys can make some suggestions in the comments. But you'll notice, what I really want you to notice here is that the winemaking regions are concentrated along the eastern side of the country. And this is the area that backs up or touches the Czech Republic or borders the Czech Republic and Slovenia. So you're getting into Eastern Europe on this side. Now, a lot of that's because the rest of the country is like a mountainous countryside. Okay, so we're getting into the areas where, you know, you can't really logically grow grapes and make wine in the rest of the country, where you see that kind of like beige color. So this eastern kind of wing of Austria is where all the winemaking is concentrated. So you guys know the drill. Today we're going to be discussing Austria. So I want you to post your questions in the comments as we go along. And I'm going to post thing number 1. And so there's going to be 3 things you need to know about Austrian wine. And thing number 1 is about Riesling. So I'm going to pull this down. We're good with the map, hopefully. But I want y'all to drop into the comments as we go along. Thing number 1, for those that love the Riesling flavor but struggle with the sugar or sweetness, Austria is your hero. Austria is your hero. Okay, so Austrian Rieslings as a generalization, are dry, not sweet. They are dry. They have more weight and what we would call extract from the grapes. They get riper, they're more intense, and are heavier than their German brothers and sisters. More acidity and minerality than Alsace. So I maybe create a spectrum here in your brain. All right. On the German side of things, you get a very like light, and I hate to gender wine, but like almost some would say maybe feminine, that are more, you know, light-handed, ethereal, not as intense, and delicate. Alsace, on the other end of the spectrum, gets these very like heavy, intense, higher alcohol, higher ripeness, no sugar, but sometimes lacking in acidity, powerful Riesling. So Germany and the Mosel, and we're just going to probably specifically focus on the Mosel, give these like light, let's just say delicate Riesling, sometimes with a touch of sugar. Alsace, powerful, not dry. They're going to be dry, not sugar, but lack acidity and lack maybe some complexity. Austria is in the middle. So it is more extract. So I come on the German side, more extracted and heavier and intense than German Rieslings. But on the opposite end, it's going to have more acid left over and more minerality than Alsace. So you get, in my opinion, this perfect marriage of what both of the German Rieslings, the Mosel Rieslings, and the Alsatian Rieslings are maybe in some way, it's hard to call them unbalanced. Let's just say it's the middle of the Venn diagram. If you have the Mosel Riesling over here and the Alsatian Riesling over here, Austria kind of fills the middle of the Venn diagram and does beautiful, almost always dry Rieslings. You get complexity. You think about things like peach, apricot, lime, white flowers, orange blossom, smoke, flint, a little bit of spice every once in a while. Austrian Rieslings are the dry Riesling drinker's best friend, and you usually don't even need to think about it. You just like, if you see an Austrian Riesling, you're almost guaranteed it's going to be dry, so just grab it and drink it and enjoy it. And Jennifer's asking, this is a great question, more like a Cabernet Riesling. I'm going to say even less sweet, even more sharp. I would always talk about Austrian Rieslings as sharp and zippy, but complex. Sharp, zippy, and complex. I feel like Cabernets still have some of that lightness and liftness and delicacy that you get from Mosel Rieslings, which is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love those wines of the Mosel, those Cabernet Mosel Rieslings, but Austrian Rieslings are going to be more powerful and intense than the Cabernets are from the Mosel. So thank you for the reminder. Lane is like, don't forget to show us your bottle from the fridge. Guys, maybe we're done with thing one. Drop into the comments and cheers. I'm going to grab that bottle. It's 2 seconds away. One moment. Told you. Already back. One thing I need to let you know, if you go looking for German wine, or excuse me, German. Y'all got me confused talking about Cabernets. If you go looking for Austrian Rieslings, you need to look for this. Okay, does everybody see the top of this cap on my Austrian Riesling bottle? The Austrian kind of like winemaking board decided that they were going to, as a marketing ploy, put the Austrian flag on the top of every bottle of Austrian wine. So if you're looking for Austrian wine, you just got to go look at the cap and find the flag. So it's a really cool way, really easy way to find Austrian wine. Doesn't matter the kind or type, the flag's on it all the time. So this is actually a really cool wine. We're not going to talk about this today, but I still haven't opened it, but if you get the chance, this is a grape that you're probably never going to hear of otherwise. Roter Veltliner. So in a second, we're going to talk about Grüner Veltliner, but I don't know how many of you have heard of Roter Veltliner. Pretty cool wine. But this is really what I wanted to show you from the bottle in my fridge, which is the cap. The top of an Austrian wine bottle has the Austrian flag. So look out for the Austrian flag if you want to try Austrian wine. Really cool way for those bottles to stand out for you to easily find them as a consumer. Really love that. Thanks for the reminder. Y'all, happy hour. Cheers. We're done with thing 1. Don't forget to drop it in the comments. We're moving on to thing 2 and 3 because we're going to do them at the same time. All right. Woo! Y'all, that Timmons Mourvedre is banging right now. Super tart on the finish. Makes me really crave food. I don't need any more food because for happy hour, I did better half cheeseburger and Tumble 22 dirty fries, which is like fried chicken, beer cheese, and fries all together. Like, it's too much food, but I went crazy. Had a frozen margarita. I had my own happy hour before the happy hour, and I can't more highly recommend it. It's a problem. Both those places are now like less than 10 minutes from my house. Things 2 and 3, guys. I'm combining them. So Nina and Alan both, I think, or Eileen, sorry, are both excited about that Roter Veltliner. Guys, I don't even know where to find it. What's the word? I don't know where to find that in the consumer market and the wholesale market because I got it straight from our distributor. This is one of the perks of us being distributed by Victory, who we love. They're great partners of ours and help distribute our wines wholesale. They have a really big portfolio, and so a lot of times we'll order wines directly from our wholesale distributor, and I got that from them. So I actually don't know where it's offered. So see if you can find it. I'll hold it up again. If you want to find, the name is Eschenhof. Eschenhof. If you want to go look for this Roter Veltliner, let's see if I can get that on the camera. Eschenhof. Eschenhof is the name of the producer. Cool. I've never had a Roter Veltliner, which is one of the reasons I sourced it. I wanted to try it. I've in my research about Austria have been reading about it, and I'm super curious. So we're not going to talk about that though today because it's a pretty obscure kind of super wine nerdy thing. Not necessarily what I want to focus on today. So things 2 and 3 are a white and a red from Austria that you need for your summer drinking. Okay. Now, I'm going to say, I hope, and this is a like wine nerd hope, that you've heard of Grüner Veltliner before. Grüner Veltliner is the pride of Austria. I would say in addition to Riesling. Now, it is the most planted white grape in all of Austria. Grüner Veltliner is, and you see some producers there. I always promise you producers if I have them. So go check out Nikolaev, Weingut Blatter, and H&M Hofer with Zweigelt, which is the red wine that you need to know for the summer. Look for Berger, Ugel, and I think Ugel is actually an Alsatian producer. So I don't know if that was, I'll have to go back and remember. I put that in there for a reason. They might have stuff there too, but Berger and Familia Bauer for sure. This is a red and a white that you need for your summer. So again, reminder, this is a high latitude wine growing region, Austria is, and I have another picture to show you. Check out how beautiful this countryside is where they grow the wine. Can we say another William Chris field trip, y'all? Let me zoom out actually so you can see the side of the mountain here. How spectacular is this? And this is kind of like what you get across Austria. You know, the parts that they're not growing wine is like too mountainous, but then it'll drop down into these plains areas, which is a little more flat. But in between, you have the hillsides with all these great terraces. And so you just get this epically beautiful countryside where they grow wine, where there's like these very old areas. They've been doing wine here very, very, let's just say very, very, very long time. The Romans and then the Cistercian monks from Burgundy came over. They were wiped out by phylloxera. They regrew. And then recently they have really been focusing on quality. They were a little bit embarrassed. There's a little bit, when you can go research it if you want, a drama around some of the sweet wines that are being made from this country in the 80s. And so they got really embarrassed. Their reputation in the fine wine world was kind of ruined. And so they were like, you know what? We're going to spend the 90s and the 2000s, and we're going to create a new standard for quality in winemaking and totally have a new reputation. And so they've been super focused on high quality wines and getting themselves out in the market. But man, epically beautiful. And I love this. Like, a lot of folks I've been seeing are dropping into the Danube. Lynette's talking about having Gruner Veltliner on the Danube. Yes, Sarah's saying, I feel as though gnomes live there. I totally agree. This looks like absolutely like the Shire. Sarah is totally in for the field trip. I am too. I hope you guys are keeping a list of all the places we're going on field trips together. Eric is again volunteering to help plan such a trip. Y'all, amazing. But I want to focus on these two grapes real quick and tell you about them. So Gruner Veltliner, which again, hopefully you've heard of, is a sharp, crisp white wine. It can come in forms that are like chuggable, cheerful, 1 liter bottle, which is like a full 33% more than normal, right? Normally it's 750 ml. So if you get a 1,000 ml, then you're getting a liter, and it's a lot more. It's sealed with a crown cap, kind of like you saw the bottle that I held up before, crown cap being the twist off. So getting those like liter bottles of Gruner that are usually, a lot of times they're green glass, or at the other end of the spectrum, here's the great thing about Gruner. It's so versatile. It can make structured, age-worthy fine wines that you want to keep in bottle, drink when they're 10, 15, 20 years old. Gruner typically displays notes of green apple. You get some white pepper, a little bit of vegetal. So I'm going to be careful with the vegetal thing here. A lot of people talk about a green note in wine. And when I say vegetal, sometimes a lot of people will say it's a little bit like the essence of green bean. That's kind of how it shows up for me. But I don't want you to think like you're getting a mouthful of broccoli or anything. It's not that weird. It's just kind of a hint, a little essence of vegetal. These wines will have very high acid, so refreshing, crisp, zippy, right? Then when you start to think about the age-worthy versions, they will age these in big, giant neutral oak barrels, neutral oak fermenters, and have contact with the lees. And so that acidity that makes it so sharp gets a little bit more round, a little more well integrated, and a little more just balanced. And so it's a little smoother and softer, and makes these wines just one of those crazy roller coasters. Remember, I talk about complexity as the loop-de-loop, backwards, forwards, underneath, all the crazy kind of roller coaster in your mouth that we all love, which means a more complex wine. Okay. Let's talk about Zweigelt. So Zweigelt used to have a more difficult name. I obviously didn't bring it up. They changed it. This is the guy. This is a cross between two other Austrian varieties. And this was originally called Rotburger or Redburger. Rotburger is now Zweigelt, and Zweigelt's all you need to know. It is how about this? It covers 14% of Austria's vineyards. It is the #1 planted red grape in all of Austria. It also has a range of styles, from those like fruity, approachable, unoaked versions that are just, fresh and honestly like would remind me a lot of this Timmons Mourvedre, where you get a lot of tart red fruit up front, a lot of good acidity, a lot of freshness, great for the summer. Then you have the other end of the spectrum again. They can get mature, full-bodied, aged in barriques or small oak barrels. And it takes on this like cherry black pepper thing. So if you want the tart cherry that you get here in this Timmons Mourvedre, but like really nice and with a little bit of a pepper note, then Zweigelt's going to be your friend. They also use Zweigelt a lot in what they call cuvées or blends of some of the Austrian red. So if you see a label that says like Austrian red wine, a lot of times Zweigelt's going to be a big chunk of that blend, and it's going to be delicious. The other two friends that it usually has alongside, which it's actually a cross of, are Blaufränkisch and Saint Laurent. So anyways, I'm going to check in. Cheers, guys. Those are things 2 and 3 about Austria. So you've got Austrian Rieslings, which are dry and powerful. You've got Gruner Veltliner, which is fresh, crisp, and zippy, lighter in body, and gonna be incredible. A little bit of an herbaceous note. Zweigelt, which is gonna be like also fresh and tart and cherry with a little pepper note. Perfect for the summer, all 3 of them. So Alan's back to geography here. Is the wine region close to Vienna? So not directly close to Vienna. Let me pull the map back up and show you guys, like, I believe, because I was looking at this earlier, that Vienna is on this map. So let's zoom in here. Where is my Vienna? Wien. Okay, so Wien is Vienna. Y'all see this right here? This little white castle looking thing. That's the city of Vienna. Wien, or Wein, is the name of the region, the wine growing region around Vienna. Okay. That is not one of the more recognized or well-known. All right. So if we want to talk about the recognized and well-known, let me zoom out here for a sec. And I'm going to focus in the top left here. Comtal, Krimstal, and Wachau, as you'll actually see listed here. Wagram as well, but definitely these top 3, Comtal, Krimstal, and Wachau, are Gruner Veltliner and Riesling country. All right, that's some of the best Austrian Riesling that you can find. Now, if you want to get into Zweigelt, you'll notice here the Neusiedlicher. Well, I can't even say it, and I speak German, is right here. Okay, it's a little bit closer to Vienna. Now, we're also not talking about very far, right? Like, we're talking about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how you're traveling. So it's close. It's just not concentrated around Vienna. So really good question. Eric is saying that this sounds a little like Syrah with a pepper flavor. Yes, but let me warn you here. It is unlike Syrah in that Syrah is very, for me, very savory, kind of umami, has some meaty bacon kind of notes a lot of times. And you don't typically get that with Zweigelt. Zweigelt is a little more fruit with pepper. And for me, Syrah is like darker fruited. I think you get some black and blue fruit on Syrah, and definitely has this like meaty umami note with the pepper. But same idea of a Shiraz or a Syrah that has like a black pepper note to it. I just say the base of the wine that you're adding that pepper to is significantly different. But I like where your head is. Smart wine nerd question here, or comment. Alan is asking, are the Gruner Veltliner and Zweigelt wines relatively? Oh my God. Great question here. Yes. Now, if you get into the ageable ones, you start to tick up into the like $40, $50, $60 range. But like, guys, I'm going to say very high quality. I hate to call them entry level because everybody thinks that means cheap. High quality, drinkable, immediately drink in their youth style wines are so affordable. We're talking like $16 to $20 for like some really good juice. So again, as a reminder, I want you to go look for the Austrian flag on the cap. Okay, go look for the Austrian flag on the cap and find Gruner Veltliner. Okay, Gruner Veltliner, remember, is one kind of grape. So I see a comma there that might be a typo. Remember, Gruner Veltliner is one kind, and Zweigelt. So Gruner Veltliner is your white, Zweigelt is your red. Go find those wines, drink them all summer. They're going to be your best friends, okay? If you forget the producer names, it's up there in my post in the comments, so you can come back to it and look those up. But I think this is another one of those regions. If it's here and it's above, let's call it $15. If it's here and it's above $15, it's going to be quality. My personal favorites in this world are, which I listed here, Nikolaev. He basically brought biodynamic farming to Austria. So Nikolaev and Emmerich Knoll, Knoll. Knoll and Nikolaev are my two favorite producers. Go find you some fun Austrian stuff. Okay, guys, cheers. It's been another fun 3 things about Austria. Now it's time for these 3 things that you need to know. And it's really important that you pay attention to these guys because we're just doing this once a week, so you don't want to miss these. First and foremost, the Summer Survival Pack is back this week for a virtual tasting on Saturday. Right? I saw this Summer Survival Kit and I was like, I need that in my life. So you do too. There's a lot of words coming up at you. Drop it in the comments. Thing number one, Chris and Catherine are going to taste through whites, rosés, and light reds, teach you all about the wines you should be drinking for the summer, why you should be drinking these. It's an incredible deal. You need to get it. There's the link in the comments. Go get it. Virtual tasting this Saturday. Make it happen. Number two, tomorrow, and this is maybe something you don't know because we haven't necessarily widely advertised this yet. Tomorrow, in partnership with the Wine and Food Foundation of Texas, we are teaming up to do a free class with some suggested wines. I'll make sure I get this up on the screen. There's a very long, oh, it's telling me there's an error. So I'm going to read it to you and then I'm going to try and repost. Y'all, what's happening is Wine and Food Foundation and us are teaming up. We're going to have Craig Collins, Master Sommelier, and Chris Brundrett himself partnering together to do an online wine class, and then it's benefiting the Austin Shift Meal. Cool. Austin Shift Meal is providing meals to industry professionals who are out of work right now. And it's a great way. It's a suggested donation class. You can do it for free. It's going to be 6 p.m. on Zoom. And if you're in Austin, you can pick up this pack. And I'm going to use the YouTube, see if this will pop up here. Oh, there it is. You can pick up the pack at the Austin Wine Merchant. We've partnered with the Austin Wine Merchant to get the wines they're going to be going over. So you'll see that Craig Collins is actually going to be going over the Italian versions, and Chris is going to be talking about the Texas versions. And we're going to talk about why Texas is good for Italian style grapes. So go make that happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm stoked to chime in and learn. Certainly not least, guys, you know, we've moved to happy hours that are once a week. And so that means we've created a happy hour pack for you to pick up and drink along with me. So like we did today with the Timmons Mourvedre, we're going to have the wines for the rest of the month of August. So you can get and drink along with me the happy hour pack of wines at the link in the bio, link in the bio. That's Instagram, guys. Link in the comments. Go check it out. Happy hour, guys. We made it through Wednesday. August is here. I'm looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday. 5 o'clock right here. Skeleton Key White is going to be in my glass. So hope it's in yours. Guys, love you. Good to see you. Hope you learned a few things about Austria and some wine to be drinking. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.